Welcome back to Catasta Charisma Working with Latex Part 7, in which we look at how to incorporate zippers into the back of the dress. Take your back template and measure the length of the zipper placement. This will start around 2.5 centimetres to 3 centimetres below the zipper teeth slot and finish at the neckline. In a later example involving the mandarin collar, I will show how we also need to include its height in our measurement. The measurement just taken informs us of the length of the zipper we require. In most cases, you won't have a zipper that measures exactly the same as the space required for it in the dress. In a later example, I will be using a slightly longer than needed shop-bought zip, but in this example I am working with a zipper cut from off a reel. No matter the type of zipper we use, we want it to be around 5 to 10 centimetres longer than needed. It is always better to have more length that we can trim down than less length that we can do nothing about. As I am working with a zipper from off a reel, there are no zip pulls already incorporated into it. To prepare for incorporating my own, I take one end of the zipper, pull the teeth slightly apart, and trim off one side at an upward angle. With coil zippers, one can do this at either end of the zip. We next have to rubberize the fabric tape of the zipper to make it compatible with the glues we use in rubber garment making. If your zipper is twisted and buckled from storage, it can be best to iron it before this stage. To rubberize the tape of the zipper, place it on some paper, teeth side facing up. Pour a little liquid latex onto a plate, and with an offcut of sponge, or using a foam brush or spatula, coat the tape in a layer of liquid latex. Be extremely careful not to get any liquid latex on the teeth of the zipper. Stay away from the teeth by around 1 millimetre or so. In fact, you will notice on the tape a change in texture. The fabric will appear smoother nearer the teeth. This is the area which the pull slides down. We can use this smoother area as a guide to avoid coating the teeth. Should you accidentally get latex on the teeth, you can immediately wash it off with water. If it dries and so turns into rubber, it can still be removed by either rubbing it with a finger to break it apart and then pulling the bits off with tweezers, or dissolve it away using some solvent. On the first application of liquid latex, it will seep into the fibres of the tape and to the back of the work and onto the paper. So immediately after applying the first coat to one side of the zipper, move it to another area of the paper. Apply a coat of latex to the tape of the opposite side and move again. Allow all the latex to dry. One can speed the drying up using a hairdryer. We now repeat the process, applying another coating of latex over the one just applied. This time you will find the latex doesn't seep into the fibres quite as much and runs more smoothly across the surface. When we apply latex, we aren't trying to apply it thickly, so we don't want pools of latex forming, just an evenly thin layer. With 2 coatings of latex applied, we can now flip the zip over and apply 2 more coats to the opposite side. This time the latex will run more smoothly across the tape, as there is far less seepage into the fibres. As always, after each coating we move the zipper to another part of the paper to prevent it sticking to the paper or surrounding latex, and allow it to dry. Once all sides of the zipper tape has 2 layers of latex applied to it, it is now rubberized. After applying any coat of latex, do not be tempted to apply more latex to any missed areas, or smooth any thicker applied areas more thinly, while the latex is in a process of drying. This will only disturb what you have already done and make a big mess. Now apply a single coat of glue across all sides. Allow the glue to dry before flipping it over on working on the opposite side. With the zipper now fully rubberized and with its coats of glue dried, we can now trim off the sides. This makes the zipper a little more narrow, but it also serves to make a smoother edge that looks neater once the zip is incorporated. We don't do this before rubberizing the tape, as it would make the edges fray. We can now go ahead and incorporate our pull into the zipper, should it not have one. Slide the wider end of the pull, its mouth, over the teeth of the extended side of the zip. Bring it down to the angled side and slide it over the opposite teeth. Make sure that both sides are aligned, and then pull the pull further down until it is fully incorporated. You may feel you need an extra set of hands to do this. If the teeth weren't quite aligned, don't worry. Take the slide down to the bottom without pulling it fully off, and then simply prise apart the teeth at the bottom. Now take the zipper back up to the top. Pull it back down to close the teeth up, and you will find a fully working aligned zipper. At the end where the pull was incorporated, trim it to produce a rounded end. Don't use your best fabric cutting scissors for this. A zipper requires a couple of sealing strips that will sandwich the back of the zipper between it and the garment. Measure your zipper length and cut 2 strips to length, and which are around 1.5 centimetres wide. The width is really around 1/4 centimetre wider than your zipper tape. A skin guard will also be required to protect your skin from the pull. Cut this to the same length as the strips, but around 4 to 5 centimetres wide. Round off one end of the skin guard section. We next need to prepare all sections cut and the back body sections for piecing together. Lay all sections except the skin guard face side down on some paper. The skin guard needs to be face side up. Take the zipper and place one side of its tape under the back body sections from the neckline down. Use it as a guide to get an area of the width of glue that will need to be applied across the zipper area of the back sections. The width wants to be around 1/4 centimetre wider than the zipper tape. When you reach the slotted end, go down about an extra 2.5 centimetres to 3 centimetres and round off. For the skin guard, draw a line around 3 centimetres down from the rounded off end, and another line down one of the longer sides about 1 centimetre in from the edge. Apply a coat of glue across the entire surface area of all the strips, the small one and the 2 long ones. Across the top and side marked out area of the skin guard, across the entire marked out surface area of the back sections, and on one back section apply a 6mm wide line of glue down its entire centre back edge, that is from the zipper's slot down to the hem. Allow all the glue to become touch dry. Take the small strip, flip it over so it is now face side up, and apply glue across its entire surface area. Flip the back section over, which has only glue applied across its zipper area, and apply a 6mm wide line of glue down its centre back edge, that is from the zipper slot to the hem. Again, allow all glue to dry before attempting to uncurl any edges. We now need to piece the two back sections together. This is our first seam, a shaping seam that will add some shaping to the garment. That is, it will turn the two-dimensional quality of the rubber into a three-dimensional form. Start the piecing from a face-side perspective and begin at the top of the centre back edge, that is, at the zipper slot. Overlay one section upon another so there is a 6mm overlap. Overlay the seam initially for just 3 to 5 centimetres before then flipping the work over to the underside perspective. Continue with the overlaying down towards the bottom. Before reaching the bottom, just check if the section you are overlaying will overrun or fall short of aligning with the underlaying section. If it looks as if it will run short, then peel the seam back a little, beyond the point you initially began, and try again. If it looks as if you will overrun the end, then flip the work over to the face side, peel back a little, and continue laying down. By flipping back and forth between our different face side, underside perspectives, we will find we can produce a seam with no apparent excess forming at the hem, and with no need to ever stretch any rubber in our piecing. When laying down the seam, do not press it down firmly, just gently smooth it down. This will always give you plenty of opportunity to peel the seam back and relay without fear of damaging the glue surfaces. Once you are happy with your seam, smooth it down with your fingers more firmly before then pressing with a roller. Clean off any residual glue and markings. In the second example of incorporating the zipper, a bit later on in the video, I promise you will be able to see me piecing this seam a lot more clearly. If you have a small amount of overrun at the hem, then either trim it down now or later on. With the two back sections now as one, we can now incorporate the zipper. Flip the sections over so you are starting from an underside perspective. This is just so we can get the initial alignment for the teeth in the anchor area where the slot begins. Flip the work over to the face side and begin to lay down one side along the length of the zipper tape. Don't quite bring the edge of the rubber to the teeth, but leave a little space between them for the pull to slide down without interference from the rubber. When laying the rubber down, take your time. Don't stretch the rubber, as this will cause misalignment when we come to lay down the opposite side, and will also cause the zip to buckle. Don't press firmly down on the rubber so you give yourself plenty of opportunity to peel things back. Simply get things into place first, then once happy, smooth down with your fingers before then pressing with a roller. Do not smooth down or press the last 5 centimetres or so of the zipper at the neckline. We still have some work to do at the ends. We can now do the same for the opposite side and lay it into place. So long as we haven't stretched the rubber in our first lay, the opposite end neckline should align with the first. Again, when pressing, avoid the neckline end. With both sides of the zipper incorporated into the back sections, mark on the zipper where the neckline finishes and trim the zipper down to around 1/2 centimetre below the marks. Again, I promise I will show this stage more clearly in the next example. Be extremely careful at any stage of incorporating a zipper not to pull the zipper pull off the end. We next need to make some zipper pull stoppers. One can buy these to incorporate into a zipper, but I prefer to improvise and make my own. Take the small strip that has glue applied to both its sides and wrap it 3 times around the ends of both teeth. The strips want to overlap the end of the teeth so that 1 centimetre wraps around the teeth and ½ centimetre hangs over the ends. After wrapping around 3 times, snip off the excess and press the rubber. We can now smooth down the ends of the back sections onto the remains of the zipper and press to bond. Flip the work over so you are now working from an underside perspective and overlay the longer sealing strips. These start at the anchor end and are laid fully down the length of the zipper tape. Make sure that around 1/4 centimetre or so of overhang extends down the sides. Smooth down and press with a roller, first across the surface area of the zipper tape and then down the overlapping edge. This now fully sandwiches the zipper into the garment. Trim off any excess. For the skin guard, just check which side of the skin guard glue line will overlap upon the sealing strips. Also mark where the skin guard ends just below the neckline, and from the end which has glue applied to it, cut a smooth curve down to the opposite side of the guard. This is so the looser rubber of the guard won't poke out from behind the neckline when being worn. Before applying any glue, clean off any residual markings and glue from your work. Apply glue across the top 3 centimetres of the sealing strips, in the anchor area, and a 1 centimetre glue line down one side. Ideally, apply this glue line halfway across the sealing strip and the garment section. Let the glue dry. Place the guard into place, smooth down and press. You should now have one beautifully incorporated zipper with skin guard that looks equally as nice open as when closed and looks neat and tidy on the inside. Should you have any remaining latex caught on the teeth, dissolve it away with solvent. So let's go through the process again, this time with a longer white dress. There is no difference between the two dresses other than the fact that when we come to measure the back section slot for the zip, we need to add extra length to it. This extra length is the height to which the mandarin collar climbs up the back of the neck. Lay the back edge of the collar section to your back section and measure. Remember to include the extra 2½ to 3 centimetres at the bottom of the zip for it to be anchored, and around 5 centimetres more at the top to give us some play for handling the zip. This time the zip is a pre-cut shop-bought zip that has the pull already incorporated into it. If you need to trim down such a zip, trim it from the end that will be anchored at the bottom and not at the top of the neckline. Place the zip on some paper and begin the process of rubberising it with liquid latex. Latex is applied down the zipper tape. 2 coats are applied to both sides of the zip, first from the perspective of the raised teeth and then flipped over. We immediately move the zip to a cleaner area of the paper in between each coating, and we allow all coats to dry before applying the next ones on top of them. We can speed drying up with a hairdryer. We apply the latex thinly and evenly and stay away from the teeth at all times by at least a couple of millimeters. After all sides of the tape have had 2 coats of latex applied to them, both on its front and back, we then apply a single coat of glue. Again, allow glue to dry before flipping the zip over to work on the opposite side. We then trim down the edges, round off the bottom of the zip that would be placed in the anchor area of the garment, and put the zip to one side for the time being. Cut yourself 3 strips that measure 1.5 centimeters wide, with 2 of them the same length or a little longer than the length of the zipper, and the last one only needing to be 12 centimeters long. Also, cut yourself a skin guard section that measures the length of the zipper or a little longer by around 5 centimeters wide. Round off one end of this section. Lay the back body sections face down on some paper, the 3 strips face down on the paper, and the skin guard face side up on the paper. Place your zipper under your back sections at the neckline and mark how far in the zipper tape goes. This is to give us an idea as to how wide an area of glue we need to apply upon our back sections in order to incorporate the zipper. Mark out the area around 5 mm wider than your initial mark from the neckline down to the anchor area. Apply a coat of glue across the entire surface area of the 3 strips. Across the rounded end of the skin guard by up to 3 centimeters deep, with a 1 centimeter wide line of glue along one of its sides. Apply glue across the entire surface area of the marked out region of the zip on both back sections, and on one section apply a 6mm line of glue down the center back edge, that is from the zipper slot to the hem. Allow all glue to dry. Flip the small strip over, flip the back section that has glue applied to just within its marked out zip area over, apply glue to the face side of the strip, and a 6mm wide glue line down the center back edge of the back section, so from the zipper slot to the hem. Allow the glue to dry. We now piece the 2 back sections together by overlapping one center back edge over another by 6mm. Start from the zipper slot, work down by a handful of centimeters, flip the work over and continue down further. Check to see if the overlaying section will overrun or run short of aligning at the bottom with the underlaying section, and if necessary adjust. If you are going to run short, then peel the layer up to beyond the point you initially began and try again. If it looks like you will run beyond the bottom, then flip the work over, peel back a little and lay again. Smooth the seam down and then press with a roller. Clean the seam of any residual glue and markings. To incorporate the zipper, take the rounded up end of the zipper and on the underside of the work, initially just seek to align the teeth with the slot. Remember the zipper starts about 3 centimeters below the actual slot, so it is fully anchored into the garment. We can now flip the work over and carefully lay the edges of the back sections upon the zipper tape, taking great care not to stretch the rubber. This time we don't have to worry about leaving a loose area up at the neckline. The edge of the back section can be fully laid down, smoothed down and pressed. We do not trim off the apparent excess of the zip, as at a later stage we still have the collar to incorporate. Remember that so long as we don't press our back sections firmly down upon the zip, we have ample opportunity to peel our rubber back and lay again if so needed, without any fear of the glue surface becoming damaged. After pressing, flip the work over and overlay the long strips from the anchor point of the zip up to its very end. These strips want to slightly overhang the zipper tape down its sides so that it may also join to the back sections of the garment. It will overhang by roughly 1/4 centimetre. Smooth down and press. Press first across the surface of the zipper tape and then run the roller down its edge. Finally, we incorporate the skin guard. Determine which side of the work the 1 centimetre glue line of the skin guard will align to. Apply glue across the anchor area roughly 3 centimetres deep and apply a 1 centimetre wide line of glue down one side of the zipper. Ideally, this runs halfway across the zipper tape and halfway across the actual garment. Place the guard into position, smooth down and press with a roller. Clean the work down of any residual glue and markings and you are done. We still have the collar to join to the zipper, but this will come later in our construction of the dress. That's it for part 7. Please join me next time when I will begin piecing the body sections together.